West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't understand why this is an issue.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
$7 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. It's the day after Labor Day. Good morning. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS, where we dive into the right, the left, and the center with no filter and no retreat. I'm Jeff Hunt, your morning jolt from 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays. Be sure to follow me on X at x.com/Jeff Hunt for the really unfiltered takes. By the way, I have an interesting poll up there today that is just going hot.
What is it?
Do you want Trump to send National Guard troops to Denver?
That's interesting.
Yep. 90% yes right now.
You know what
230 votes, and that thing was posted less than an hour ago.
What I love about that is the Donald Trump sending National Guard troops to, considering that he's not really in charge of the National Guard. That's what I love. It's fantastic. I love that. Let's normally usurp what's usually the governor's responsibility and give it to the president. There's a second layer in that question that is just beautiful that I love. I love that. Thank you. That is fantastic.
Well, would love to have you join that and join the conversation. So whether you're stuck in traffic on I-25, sipping coffee in Lodo, or hiking the trails in Jefferson County, we're here to ignite debate on the issues heating up Denver and all of Colorado. I want to get into this one. A pole dance routine at the Colorado State Fair in Pueblo sparked a wave of complaints for being inappropriate. Folks, this is what happens when cultural decay creeps into our family traditions. The Colorado State Fair is a celebration of our state's heritage, rodeos, 4-H, and apple pie, not stages for provocative performances. The act by Wildfire Belly Dance Company was called out by fairgoers who felt it crossed the line for a family-friendly event. Yet the performers are doubling down, claiming it's art. And it is suitable for all stages, all ages. All stages and ages. Yes, that's right. Pole dancing is suitable for all ages, the performers are arguing. I mean, when is pole dancing fit for kids to be watching with their parents in Pueblo? Here in Colorado, from Fort Collins to the Western Slope, we cherish our traditions that unite us, not displays that divide us. The fair's management is now in damage control, admitting the act didn't sit right with many attendees, and they're not going to allow it moving forward. And the performers saying, well, we don't want to be a part of this moving forward either. This is a win for common sense. Coloradans in Denver, Aurora, Colorado Springs aren't here for woke excuses for inappropriate artistic expression. Left might call this censorship, but it's about protecting our values. Would love to hear from you about this. We'll play some of the news footage from this as well. Oh, gosh. Bill, you saw the video.
Yeah.
Could you imagine walking by that with your kids and just being like, golly.
Well, I mean, it was like the public stage, like, okay. Yeah, like, there wasn't that. The thing is, I'm surprised at the amount of people that are upset over it. That's the part. I mean, it was just like, it was kind of silly, kind of, I didn't understand the point of why it was there, per se, the dancing. Not necessarily that impressive, nor necessarily that provocative. I was just kind of like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Pole dancing?
But what I saw in the video of hers, I didn't see it to be that provocative. And the only thing is, because I've seen me some FKA Twigs, I've seen me some Cardi B. So I've seen really provocative pole dancing. That's not it. That's not it. That wouldn't even make it.
But is that the right answer? Is that the right answer? It could have been worse.
Well, the thing is, I just didn't see it to be as sexualized. I didn't see this. I didn't see the, other than it be kind of a, to me it was, I don't want to do this to the wonderful people that were doing that. It just seems kind of sad. It just seemed it was half-hearted attempt. It wasn't. What I saw someone trying to do a PG pole dance routine. I didn't see anything that looked very sexualized. I didn't see anything, and was like, okay. Also, it didn't play into many of the Cirque du Soleil elements. And Cirque du Soleil does a lot of pole dancing. They use a lot of that in their routines. And again, it's not sexualized. It has to do with manipulating your body as the pole many times is moving around. And it has to do with shapes and things like that. You only get into the pole dancing things in the strip clubs and that type of stuff. Or, well, if you see the FKA Twigs or the Cardi B shows. Then
I
super
swear,
sexualized.
you can't take your children anywhere in Colorado without sexual deviants pushing obscene content on your family. It's constant. Even down at the Colorado State Fair. Should this end? Or is this just free expression? As Suzanne texted in, you don't have to look at it. If it offends you, come on. Shouldn't be out at the Colorado State Fair and watching Grandpa sit right there.
Yeah, he was just fine with it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he was. All right, let's go to the phone. We'll go to the phone lines. Give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Hey, good morning. It's Tuesday, 54 and sunny. Welcome back to work. In Denver, we're expecting a high of 85 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, DJT set to make an announcement from the Oval Office today at noon. Over the weekend, F. Chuck Todd, remember him? And the media, they losing their minds over DJT's health. Incredible journalism from one of the guys who would never report the truth on Biden.
These health rumors, he only has himself to blame. And the entire Trump world only has themselves to blame for this, right?
Yeah.
They live in this world of conspiracy and misinformation.
Yes.
They manufactured all sorts of garbage, whether it's about Hillary Clinton's health in 2016, Joe Biden's health in 2020 or 2024. My goodness, they've started congressional hearings based on rumors they created and manufactured on all things having to do with Biden and this auto pen and all this
Russia
nonsense.
hoax.
So guess what? Good for the goose, good for the gander. All weekend long. Where's Donald Trump? How come we're not seeing him? Bottom line is he's clearly got some health issues. We know this administration is not forthcoming pretty much about anything.
Really? Wow. Okay. And the Biden administration was. Okay. And so was the Obama administration. Protesters taking part in a Labor Day march in Denver say DJT favors billionaires over members of the working class.
There's an underlying problem, and the billionaires are supporting that. They keep getting richer, and we keep getting poorer.
Well, Gary from Inglewood, alongside several other lefties, he took part in Monday's march and rally near the state capitol, and you heard what he had to say. Participants carried signs condemning the 47th president and his policies, with some criticizing him for acting like a dictator. Dun, dun, dun. Judge James Boasberg, remember that name? And that commie? This is what he did yesterday or today. He allowed the release of a New York woman who threatened to kill President Trump. She said that, quote, "I am willing to sacrificially kill this POTUS by disemboweling him and cutting out his trachea." And he released her. Great. The housing market needs to improve. Housing Director Bill Pulte on Fox News Channel.
President Trump is focused on getting this housing market booming again. The last 4 years has been terrible. Joe Biden and Jerome Powell did something terrible with interest rates. And I'll say one thing, which is that people talk about the independence of the Fed. The Fed has not been independent for the last 4 years, and you see that with Jerome Powell not holding Lisa Cook accountable. I mean, this is clearly in what appears to be blatant mortgage fraud, and Jerome Powell is silent. If anything, he's showing the lack of independence of the Fed, and it's by his own doing. So we couldn't get a new chairman soon enough, and hopefully that will solve a lot of these issues.
Hopefully. A Lester Arnold High School student was arrested Friday after he allegedly viciously and randomly strangled another student on Thursday. Commerce City police say the suspect followed the victim a block away from school before attacking in the 7400 block of Quebec Street. The victim is suffering from serious injuries. The suspect is facing assault charges. The House Oversight Committee will hold a private bipartisan meeting today with survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Chairman James Comer announced the session ahead of a planned news conference Wednesday with Representatives Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. Comer also requests suspicious activity reports from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to aid the committee's investigation into federal enforcement of sex trafficking laws linked to Epstein and Maxwell. Missouri is the next state to try to add more GOP seats to Congress. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe made the announcement while unveiling a proposed congressional map of the Republican-led state, adding he wants to start this week. Sunday's earthquake in Afghanistan has killed more than 1,100 people. Nestle CEO has been fired over an undisclosed relationship with a subordinate. Evidently was passing chocolate kisses to the subordinate. Not sure if that's true, but I had to add that. College football last night. Bill Belichick loses his first game as head coach at North Carolina as TCU just destroys them. Deion Sanders defending his decision not to use the 2 timeouts remaining in CU's loss against Georgia Tech, as Georgia Tech just runs them over in the end. But the Buffs, hey, they're making money for the program. CSU plays host to UNC after losing to Washington over the weekend, but pretty impressive. That game was tight until late in the fourth quarter. Wyoming back in action against Northern Iowa and the Broncos. It is NFL week number 1 coming up. It kicks off on Thursday. Broncos play Sunday. 51 Castle Rock, 52 in Arvada, 54 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue on this Tuesday. Welcome back to work. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Mostly sunny to partly sunny and very pleasant here in Denver and along the Front Range today, tomorrow, and Thursday. As nice September weather will dominate. Highs will be 80s, overnight lows will be 50s. For Friday and the weekend, a little bit cooler, 70s to near 80 or so, and we'll see some better chances of afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. People not happy what's happening down at the Colorado State Fair. Pole dance routine facing backlash. Here's the news story.
Well, dancers now speaking out after a performance at the Colorado State Fair drew criticism for what some saw as an adult-themed act. And we first showed you the video circulating online last night. It shows a woman pole dancing on the free stage at the State Fair on Friday.
Now the performing group behind it is standing by the dance, saying it was all above board and a performance they've done in previous years at the fair. KRDO 13's Marina Garcia went down to Pueblo to learn more. Marina.
During the last weekend of the Colorado State Fair, our station received multiple complaints about a specific act. They felt it was inappropriate and did not belong on the stage, but the people who planned the act said it was designed for audience of all ages.
This is a video that has people up in arms.
You can see a dancer in what looks like a black bathing suit doing an expressive dance around a pole set to music. The woman who booked the dancer says this was the 4th time they were invited back by the fair, and it's frustrating how the criticism is being handled.
I'm a little upset over that, to be honest with you. They're going to do what they need to do to make it family friendly. However, I wish they would have addressed the bullying that happened, because that's a little more inappropriate than what this beautiful dancer did on the stage.
In prior years, the performers have done the same dance and wore similar outfits. Jacqueline Santos, who works with the dancer in the video, says the backlash they are receiving is shocking.
Us as pole artists, we always take care to tailor our routines to be family friendly, entertaining, and most of all appropriate for the audience.
The State Fair says they have worked with Wildfire Ballet Dance Company for many years. However, they're trying to do right by the customers.
For them, it may be family friendly. For some of our other customers, it was not. For us, it's all about time and place.
The dancers say regardless of their long work history with the fair, they will not be attending it in the future. Reporting live in the newsroom, Marina Garcia, KRDO 13.
All right, I'm going to do my best to describe this. I'm
Better you than me.
going to do a play-by-play. She spins around this pole, okay? She's kind of spinning around it. Then she grabs it and she leans back in a provocative way, kind of showing off her curves. Then she slides down it. Okay, now she's crawling towards the audience on all fours. She throws her hair back and exposes her chest, and then she takes her hand and moves it around in her hair, and then goes back down onto all fours, and then kicks a leg out, and then she comes back up and exposes the fullness of her chest. That is not family friendly. Goodness gracious, it's a strip routine.
No, that's not a strip routine.
How's that not I haven't been in a strip club. How is that not a strip routine? She's
That's-
showing off all parts of her body.
Not necessarily.
Yes.
What I looked at is I looked at when I saw the move. When I saw that, I went back and I looked to the very popular mid '80s movie, the one that created a fashion earthquake at the time, that convinced us when we were working out, our ankles and our calves were really chilly. The rest of us just fine, but our ankles and our calves got to have leg warmers because they're super chilly. I don't know why, but we were taught that. That's Flashdance. And the moves that I saw her doing were nothing that I didn't see inside of Flashdance. And that is a mid-'80s movie that if we showed in front of kids, as far as subject matter, maybe a little bit, but the dancing per se, based on where we are now, yeah, I didn't see that much difference.
She's wearing a swimsuit. She's got her cleavage out. She's doing sexually suggestive dancing. Why? Why is it that the left always has to promote this type of stuff out in public? Nobody cares. If the Colorado State Fair hadn't done this, it wouldn't have been any worse for it. There's plenty of dancing options you could have that are perfectly respectful and that you're not going to get parents complaining about. And you can have a great Colorado State Fair. What is it with the left that's like, you know what? We got time on stage. Pole dancing. Pole dancing. They've always got to push this stuff.
I don't know. I mean, I understand. I was just looking to see if Flashdance, if they hit the PG-13 or the R back in the day. And yeah, it was rated R, which makes sense. But I didn't see anything that wasn't different there. And I didn't see the dance being overly sexualized. But again, I'm referencing things like FKA Twigs and Cardi B and other things like that. Jennifer
and that
Lopez.
Stuff's not family friendly either.
Yeah, but Jennifer Lopez does perform on stage in public, and that's what I'm looking at. Is that's an overly sexualized dance, and I didn't see that presentation here. And pole dancing is a very popular form of exercise as well.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I just know out of curiosity, I just did a search. And we've got T's Studio. We have Studio 36T. We've got SAS Fit. We've got the Pole Pod, Black Widow Pole Studio, Rockstar Pole Fitness, Selenite Studio Aerial. We've got Circus Collective, Gravity Aerial Arts. Basma Dance and Fitness, Aerial Cirque over Denver, Sasfit Dance
All
Fitness.
filled by
Village
recently
Studio,
divorced women trying to get it back
AIR,
together.
Aerial Fitness, Push and Pull, AKT. I'm just saying that for something that necessarily everybody is saying is so sexualized and we shouldn't be doing in public, there are a whole lot of places all over town that are teaching women to do this. So they're not
Privately in studios.
But again, this is not something that they're not training these women to go and be strippers. So they're not over sexualizing it. And so could the presentation on that stage just be the same thing? The thing that I'm shocked at is, we didn't have on the stage there that everyone's shocked at. She wasn't in drag, and she wasn't reading books to kids. Remember that last time? That just having someone in drag.
That's because conservatives fought it.
But hang on a sec. But last time, someone that was dressed up as a woman. Now we have someone that is a woman dressed up as a woman doing a dance, and now we're like, oh, that's not okay too. That's not okay either. I think just
because in both cases they're pushing this agenda on kids.
What agenda? What is the agenda that woman is pushing? What is the agenda she's pushing?
A sexualized woman. I thought we went through this big feminism. We don't need to sexualize ourselves all the time to be taken seriously. And what does the left do? Go puts on a swimsuit and dances on a pole in front of kids.
Well, wouldn't you be happy with that? Isn't that going back to what the women should be doing? Isn't that what they should be doing?
Be a respectful woman.
Isn't that should?
You're an embarrassment. If you're a woman getting onto a swimsuit and dancing provocatively, not doing ballet, not doing, there's plenty of culturally appropriate dances you could do out there. But you are not being serious. If you're doing this in front of kids, and I'm glad, thank God, we have these moments of clarity where the Colorado State Fair is like, you know what, this isn't worth the headache. And it's not worth the headache.
No, it's not worth the headache because
parents having to text in going, what the heck are you doing to our kids out here?
Well, here's the thing is, for me, it's an innocuous dance performance that's not very sexualized, and people get mad about it. You're going to see more sexualized dance performances from probably cheerleader groups that are there from high schools or colleges.
I don't like those either.
You're probably going to see it more in
consistent
concerts.
Here.
Yeah, I am too. I'm saying that you're going to see that around and people being upset about it. That's what exists at this point, and I didn't see her being overly sexual in the performance. I saw something that was more akin to something, now not exactly, but something that would be closer to what you would see in a Cirque du Soleil rather than something you'd see in a strip club. That's what I saw, but everybody's getting mad about it. Can I see the
strength or talent there? Come on.
Again, I'm saying it's closer to what you'd see in Cirque du Soleil than what you'd see on a dance club and in a strip club, because of what I'm saying is, the gyrating and the focus on our hips and genitals. There wasn't a lot of that in what she was doing, and so that's what I saw. So I didn't see something that was as sexual as you saw it, but I can see why the fair would back away from it, because why do you want to deal with all these people complaining?
Right.
Why would you want to?
Good.
Yeah, that's fine.
I agree with that. And two, let's take it into this consideration. Think about the message being sent to young girls around the idea of OnlyFans right now. That in this, what's supposed to be a feminist society, right?
Yeah.
You can make a tremendous amount of money by taking your clothes off for men.
Yeah, and whose fault is that?
Well, I think it's both male and female's fault.
No. It's men. Who's paying for it? And here's the reason, and I'm sorry, this is totally brutal, and it's probably not a lot of people are going to like it, but to me, this is a little bit of supply and demand. That if there wasn't,
supply and demand. I'm not blaming you for that.
So the idea is, if the guys,
where are all the women going, don't do this? Are you kidding me? You're going to destroy your life. This stuff's going to be online forever. This is a terrible thing to do.
The guys are paying you to do it, and there's no necessarily personal interaction. So if the guys are going to pay you to do it, if the guys would stop paying, it would stop happening. That's it. It is that direct. If we would stop paying for it as the guys, it wouldn't exist. But we pay for it. It would dry up tomorrow if we didn't pay for it. That's it. If you want to stop it right now, rather than saying women you can't, guys.
No, I'm saying both. I'm saying both in this case. But look at the message we're sending to young girls right now. Coming up, 16, 17, 18 years old. Hey, you go to the Colorado State Fair, dance around in a swimsuit and be provocative on stage.
Yeah.
Or
and then maybe someday,
make tons of money taking off your clothes online, all while we're supposed to be living in this, quote, feminized society.
Yeah,
By the
well-
way, guys are taking your spots in sports as well.
While the guys,
I think the whole
while the guys are
feminist
paying
thing
for it.
has been a scam.
Guys aren't taking your spots in sports. Not a large number. Again, I'm not defending trans people in sports, but they're not taking your spots. The idea, though, that it is the guys. What I'm curious about is, hey, ladies, your guys are paying you to do this, and you should stop this. You should stop. It's not on the guys. We're not getting mad at them.
I'm not saying it's either or. I'm saying it's both.
I'm not mad at the guys.
But I'm just
this.
wondering what type of message we're sending to young girls.
That
right now.
maybe those girls, if they train hard enough and they work hard enough, maybe they could perform as a cabaret dancer. Maybe they could actually be one of the Nuggets dancers. Maybe they should be out on the field as one of the Broncos cheerleaders. All of that would be dance moves and things that women did on stage. All of those things
you don't
are.
think they're sexualized?
All
those
I'm saying
dancers?
is, all I'm saying is they are placed in public, and we're all okay with them. And so that's our standard. Yeah, that's our standard. We celebrate them. We have them around in public, and we have them perform all the time in front of our children. That's what we've decided is a standard.
We've gone through this big journey into feminism and ended up with women taking their clothes off.
Which, again, wouldn't that be the most empowerment, saying I'm taking my clothes off and you're paying me for it? Rather than you forcing me to do it?
you just made women objects.
No, the women.
Yes,
no,
those guys aren't getting to know them. They're not providing for them. They're not building families with them. They turned them purely into sexualized objects.
The issue is this, though. While the men may view that, it is the women that have made the choice, and that's the difference. That, when you talk about the feminism side of it, as awkward and weird as it is, the idea with OnlyFans that the individual can choose to be that person and choose the interaction and maintain how much or how little interaction there is, that is honestly empowerment because they're making the choice.
It is not empowerment.
They're not being run.
Turned them more into sexualized objects than ever before.
Hang on a sec. The guy that is celebrated on the right in some circles is Andrew Tate, who traffics women and pimps them out. The difference inside of OnlyFans is the women are making the choice, and it's not necessarily the same thing that Tate was involved with. They're different levels. So I understand, as awkward as it is, but some of this, we don't lay this at the feet of the guys. But then again, I didn't see anything on that stage that was necessarily too sexual, too untoward, and I wouldn't worry about kids seeing it. I've seen the same things happen in other public performances that we celebrate all the time. They just have to wear logos and are dance teams and are cheerleaders or dancers at a public performance. Same thing.
Pole dance routine facing backlash at the Colorado State Fair. Officials at the Colorado State Fair it's not going to be a part of their performances moving forward. Thank you to the Colorado State Fair for having a bit of decency and going, you know what? We don't need pole dancing at the Colorado State Fair. We're not asking, you don't see conservatives trying to ban it, saying that these studios can't open, that if you try to participate in it, that you're going to get fined. Just stop pushing it on kids at family-friendly events. Colorado State Fair, taking it seriously, and I appreciate it. All right, join the conversation. Should this be banned? Or is this a form of expression and I'm just pearl clutching, as some of the text messages are saying? Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. All right, let's talk Gyrie's. Folks, my wife and I went into a Gyrie's location the other day and had a great experience with Crystal at the Parker location. They got locations all over. This is a great mid-step for improving your home, not having to spend a fortune on private decorators, and not being left to your own devices wandering around a big box store. Gyrie's walks alongside you, comes out to your home, brings samples. You get to see how everything works, how it's going to look in your home. And this is everything from Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters to paint to home decor. All of it with a personalized in-home consultation. We've been really enjoying our experience. And guys, to allow your wife to ask questions, explore all that stuff with regards to a designer in-home is really, really cool to see. So check out Gyrie's.com. That's GUIRYS.com. GUIRYS.com. Gyrie's to schedule your in-home consultation. Go see the great people there. You'll be sure to thank me. All right, we'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Text messages are hot on this one. Here we go.
Yes, they are.
Pole dance routine facing backlash at Colorado State Fair. I'm wondering why it is that anywhere we try to take our children in Colorado, sexual deviants are constantly pushing obscene content on their family. We don't need it. Doesn't need to be there. And in fact, Colorado State Fair agrees with this. They're not going to allow it anymore. Why the headache? It's not needed. People pointing out on the text messages that I must have grown up in an Amish community in Colorado. Jeff apparently skipped the 80s where every commercial, TV show, and music awards showed sexualized women, mechanic calendars, and girls in bikinis, and young men drooling over hot girls on MTV. Bill, you need to loan me some 80s movies, apparently.
There we go.
What I'm pointing out, what I just find interesting, is that in a feminist society where women have fought hard for the rights to be able to be taken seriously in business, to rise above sexism, those types of things, where have we ended up? Well, with women making their money on OnlyFans, dancing provocatively on poles at the Colorado State Fair, and high amounts of men consuming pornography, that we just ended up right back where women are objectified. And I think there's a better way. I think there's a better family-friendly way that encourages women not to go onto OnlyFans to sell their bodies for men, but to get married, to pursue raising children, to living a healthy life that way. I think that's a better way forward. So, glad to see the Colorado State Fair go, you know what? We're not going to do this. And I think Castle Rock Pride's not doing the trans kids stuff anymore, too. Seems to be like there's some common sense coming back.
I just think it's, as one of the texters did, I'm not referring to you, but I hear a lot of people just pearl clutching, and especially down at the Colorado State Fair.
Well, the text messages are saying I'm pearl clutching.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not referring to you, but I think there is a lot of pearl clutching involved in this. People that, and again, part of it being the individuals that arrive to the Colorado State Fair. Probably, this is many times the big city where they go into Pueblo. That's the big city that they've traveled to.
Very good point.
So this may not be something they're exposed to all the time, yet this is an organization that runs a business inside of Pueblo. Runs a business there and has performed other places in other years past. But it was this necessary performance that they felt was too sexualized. So, again, it's a notice to something like Cirque du Soleil. Not Pueblo, not that community, not what you're able to, because they don't like that kind of thing. Okay, fine, fair enough.
See,
but I disagree with this being an overly sexualized performance. If the community doesn't like it, that's fine. And
I don't think that
doesn't want to have any
Cirque
complaints,
du
fine.
Soleil stuff. I've been to Cirque du Soleil, and I don't remember it all being sexualized. This is a woman that's showing off her cleavage, dancing in provocative ways, crawling on the ground towards the audience. I don't know. Maybe I missed that at Cirque du Soleil.
Here's the thing: is it's presented different, but every one of those type of movements does exist inside of a Cirque du Soleil pole performance. The idea of her arching her back and throwing her head back, or looking at the audience and flipping her hair up, all of those things occur inside of usual Cirque du Soleil types of performances. Yes. But we view it as sexualized in this case and not in the other cases. Some of that is context, as far as how it's presented, how the dancers are dressed, everything else. For me, it was a woman that was trying hard, and I wasn't that impressed with the routine. I feel bad that she's getting all this nastiness coming back towards her because she was out there trying, and I don't think that she was doing something that was overly sexual. So I feel really bad that this organization and this woman is facing this kind of backlash from something. I'm like, she didn't come out there and she didn't dance to WAP and start grinding her her naughty parts all over places, and she didn't go up and try to emulate a lap dance with someone. There weren't a whole lot of focuses on the video that I saw on certain types of, I would say, sexual behaviors that mimic the idea that you are doing something else with somebody else. I didn't see a lot of that. I saw something that was much closer to a representation in an 80s movie, and I didn't think that's necessarily a big deal. But if the community down there doesn't like it, and evidently enough of them complain to the Colorado State Fair, fine. Okay, then you don't have that one, but that's yet again, it's another performer that won't be on the stage that you have to fill.
Oh, no.
Okay, fine.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So sorry. Yeah, see,
Again,
I don't
somebody
think
doesn't want it,
anybody's
fine.
going to notice this moving forward is going to go, gosh, what's really missing from the Colorado State Fair? The D- level strip show with the pole.
See, and I disagree that it was a strip show, but that's okay. That's okay based on, if that's the filter. The weird thing is that a lot of those people will celebrate and like the fact that either their family members that are cheerleaders or dancers will perform some similar movements during their performances at this Colorado State Fair. Some of those movements will be very similar to what that woman did on stage, but when it's your own ball of sunshine and you don't view it that way, then you're going to view it. You're going to have a totally different interpretation. But fair enough. You guys can be mad about whatever you want, and if you want one less performer at the Colorado State Fair, so be it. I'm not going to necessarily make it a hill to die on while I think it is silly and that people are overreacting. But
What is
here
that
we are.
form of Mexican dancing where they wear the really colorful dresses? And
Not samba, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
I can't think. No. Where are we going with this?
That
Let's
is-
just,
well, I'm
regardless
just
of the
saying
name.
there's so many other levels of dancing it's folk dancing. There's the Mexican hat dance. Yeah. Anyways, they have the really, and they kind of do the
and
twisting.
I know, but there are also some.
With
There's
the
some
big,
dances.
colorful dances. I'm just saying, there's so many beautiful dancing options that could be featured and celebrated at the Colorado State Fair.
And there's some
that doesn't need to be.
And there's some that are very romantic. And remember, we have a thing with Dancing with the Stars, an entire primetime TV show that is in the family hour in which it's presented. And we have scantily clad women and men dancing around, and some of them gyrating in much the same way. Some of those dances are even more suggestive and romantic than what we saw on the stage at the Colorado State Fair. Again, that is a show that is presented in the family hour on television. It's gay. They don't want it down there. Fair enough. But the idea that this is some sort of cultural erosion, I disagree with. They may not like it, but
Mexican
fine.
hat dancing.
Okay. But again, even then, okay, fine.
That's beautiful. That's something that the whole family can enjoy and watch and celebrate. And it's at the state fair, so you got the funnel cake, you got your corn on the cob, you got your lemonade, you're down there with the kids. Nobody wants to walk by pole dancing. So many other options. Tip of the hat to the Colorado State Fair.
Yeah, I don't think the big deal. And if that on a small public performance stage has ruined your experience, okay, I think you're wound a little bit tighter and maybe need to have more relaxation and vacations. You're wound a way bit too tight for wandering around the Colorado State Fair. If that's the thing that's going to ruin your day.
America's healing, baby. Okay. America's healing, and Donald Trump's in the White House. Give us a call.
About this being
303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. All right, you hungry for lunch today? Maybe dinner coming up. Great options over at the Black Eyed Pea of Colorado. Locally owned and operated by Steve and Michelle. I absolutely love this restaurant. My entire family does. It's home-style cooking at its best. 8 locations. There's sure to be one near you. Bottom line, you want to take your family out to eat at the Black Eyed Pea. Go online at blackeyedpeacolorado.com and check out their featured menu that they run throughout different seasons in Colorado. They have special barbecue. They've got burgers, potato menus, and more. They've built a reputation in Colorado for the best home-cooked meal away from home. And guess what? There's not a big debate over its logo either. They do catering. If it's a dinner party, rehearsal dinner, wedding reception, or company event, make it a success with Black Eyed Pea Catering. And no matter what the occasion, Black Eyed Pea gift cards are always great. For your special someone birthday favors or holiday presents, they've got you covered. I love everything about this restaurant. I know you will too. Support local like I do. Keep it in Colorado and visit the Black Eyed Pea near you. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. So Mark Crowley's here. He's one of the producers here on the show, and he's trying to make a image for the YouTube thumbnail after this hour's discussion.
Yeah.
And he typed into ChatGPT what we were talking about and wouldn't create the image because it violated its content policies.
Oh, that's great. Usually it's just because of stuff I say.
But yeah, kids at the Colorado State Fair, sure, walk by that. Oh my goodness. And it wasn't even good.
No, it wasn't. And that's the thing is I look at, wasn't that sexualized and not that necessarily good of a dance. I think she was making an effort, but it wasn't there. And the whole idea that people are like, I'm mad over that. I'm like, that's what's got you upset? Wow. I wish sometimes I understood who these people were that had all of this time in their lives to be upset over that. I have so many other things that are going on.
We're so
That's
tired
what I'm worried about?
of dealing with it as
God.
parents. As
Tired of dealing
parents
with
who
what?
want to raise our kids to have Christian values.
Dealing
It's
with
like, I can't even go to something down in Castle Rock without somebody, or the Colorado State Fair. And then if your kids are in government-run schools, and we're going to get to this a little bit later in the 9 o'clock hour, this comprehensive sex education, it's just all the time. The progressive, sexualized, OnlyFans,
this was
comprehensive sex education, stripping on a pole down at the Colorado State Fair. It's just all the time.
This was a public stage that had, according to the video, it looked like less than 25 people in the crowd. That's not necessarily on the main thoroughfare because they don't put the public stages on those main drags. And if you had to run across it, yeah, you did. But then again, out of everything else that is your experience in the Colorado State Fair day, that's the thing. That's it. Wow. I wish I had that kind of extra time in my life to be so upset over something that looks like it could have been a dance routine from an 80s movie. I wish I was gifted that amount of time to be upset over something that is so innocuous and so stupid. God, I want to get to that point in my life.
Bill, you're missing it. You're missing it. For those of us that are raising young men and women to be virtuous, to pursue building families, to pursue building careers, all that stuff, it's a constant battle to keep this world that wants to sexualize everything away from them so that they can become good, healthy people as they grow older. And you want to take your kids to the Colorado State Fair where it's cotton candy and Ferris wheels and, music and 4-H and stuff like that. And you got to walk by that. You just don't want to see it anymore. 8422's got a good text message. The sad part of the story is Colorado's fallen so far to the bottom that we consider their decision not to allow pole dancing at the state fair to be some kind of victory. Common sense has left the Rocky Mountains. We are a sad, sad state.
Yeah, just don't go see Cirque du Soleil because they include that there too. Just don't do that. Just saying. Ignore the NFL and the NBA games as well. Just saying. Just ignore those two. If that's it, if that's your bar, fine. Go right ahead. If that's what you're going to get mad about. But this, seriously, versus any other sexualized dance performance, this is what you thought? Wow. And people out there make livings doing things and being dancers, and some of that gets somewhat sexualized. Yes, have you seen some of the backup dancers that do make good money on some of these tours, also on stage? During plays and things, yes, that can be something. And they're touring people that make a lot of money doing pole dancing for Cirque du Soleil. They travel all over the world, so there is a career behind it. There is. But,
all right, join the conversation. Give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Speaking of Dan Caplis, Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values. Imagine that. Values, like we're talking about today. Dan's got impeccable values. He is about faith. He's about family. He's about freedom. He has dedicated 40 years of his life to helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. In fact, Dan Kaplis Law is so trusted. He's the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Kaplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551 or hit dankapluslaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S law.com. Let's go to the phone lines. Keith, Denver. Good morning, Keith. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Hey, good morning. Morning, gentlemen. Bill, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. Your argument that you're making that this is innocuous is like saying that if a man walked out on stage without a shirt on is the same thing as a woman walking out on stage without a shirt on. This is a family event. This was out in public. The fact of the matter is that you're comparing this like it's like she's just as qualified to be in Cirque du Soleil, athleticism-wise and performance-wise. This woman was literally the ray gun version of pole dancing.
Nice reference.
This was
nice reference. I appreciate that.
Not that I understand that.
Hang on a sec, though. Hang on. Hey, Keith, hang on, though. But what I'm hearing is she's not good. Not kids shouldn't see this. I agree she's
both.
not good. But let's get to the point about why kids shouldn't see it.
Okay, so it's the same. It's a false equivalency to say, well, the Cirque du Soleil or the cheerleading does the same moves. How about the outfits that they wear in the Olympics for the women's gymnastics? Is that fair to say these women are too scantily clad? Is it sexual? No, it's athleticism at its finest. You could make that point, but this woman had no business. They had no business putting a woman out there pole dancing.
We'll continue. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
KNUS.